Shamrock Forge. Today we're going to do a little project that I kind of need to do. I'm going to be taking a trip here in a couple weeks over to North Carolina, and for the trip I'm going to have, I'm renting a pickup, and I'm going to have my Yeti cooler in the back. And I don't know about over there, but over here having a Yeti cooler in the back of your pickup is a good way to have your Yeti cooler become somebody else's Yeti cooler. So I'm going to forge a couple locks for it so that I can chain it down to the bed or up to the stake holes or something. But I got to have a way to connect it. Well, on the inside, I'll show a picture right here. There's these little slots where you can drop. They sell a lock kit for it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these, which is a 5/8 square stainless steel compression ring, and I've already cut one into two pieces, and I'm going to straighten this out, flatten it out, and bend it and punch and drift a hole in it so that I can drop one down each side, and it'll stay in there, and then I can attach a chain to the other ends of it. So stick around and let's see how this works. So here we have another voiceover video because just like always, there's nobody at the yard, and I go out to start heating some steel, and as soon as I get my intro done, 15 trucks roll in with the engine fan going and the backup alarms going and just raising all kinds of ruckus. So the first thing I'm doing with this piece of stainless steel compression ring is straightening it out. It proves to be a little bit stiff, and as you can see here, it's already cold, but it's still warm enough to straighten out. I couldn't actually do any forging at this temperature, but straightening it out is a piece of cake. Now on this first heat, if you can see the color, it's still just a little bit too cold for forging. Red to red-orange, it's just not going to move much. I get a couple whacks in and then throw it back in the heat. It's moving all right, but not as much as I would like it to. And that's the key to stainless steel, is just knowing when to throw it back in the fire. Now that's more like it. That's a decent forging heat right there. You can see the steel's moving a little bit quicker, a little bit better. With stainless, you got a really short window. I mean, look how fast that thing's cooling off. And I mean, like immediately right there, the tip is already almost too cold to forge. And yeah. Back into the fire and back out. Here we go. And all we're doing here is we're just kind of trying to flatten this thing out. It's originally 5/8 square, and I'm trying to flatten it out into about 1/2 inch by, whatever width. The width is unimportant. I just need to get it, about a 1/2 inch thick, because that's the diameter of the slot in the cooler is about a 1/2 inch. So I'm trying to get it down so it'll fit in there, and yeah, keep it kind of straight and clean. It doesn't have to be a pretty forging, it just has to be functional, because it's just a cooler tie down. It's not something I'm selling to somebody or something like that. All right, now we've got the whole thing flattened out into about 1/2 inch thick, give or take. And now I'm just going to kind of flatten out the one end that's going to bend over and be the tab that's underneath the lid of the cooler.
And it's going to take me a couple heats to do this because it's got to get too thin, too wide, too fast, and I mean I can't do it in one heat. So it takes two, me and you. Now, what say we punch a hole? For the time being, all I have is a square punch. My round one has yet to be built. I've actually, by the time I'm recording this, I've actually built it already. But when I was doing this video, all I had was the square punch. So I'm starting with a square punch, and then I'm going to drift it round later on. And there's the slug. And now, just because I don't have a drift that's going to fit that hole that at that size, I'm going to use the punch to make the hole just a little bit bigger until I can get my round handled drift in there, which used to be a punch, but I don't use it for a punch anymore because it's too soft. So, yep, just gonna square it up, or move the punch around, kind of try to keep the hole all the same, and get it just big enough where I can get the handled punch in there. And there's the handle punch. You can see it's a little bit bent on the end there. I decided that it wasn't necessary to straighten it out for this project because, I mean, as long as I can get it in the hole, I can drive it down and it'll be good to go. Now, if you notice, I'm turning the punch kind of 90 degrees one way and then hitting it through and turning it the other way and hitting it through. And the reason being is the punch isn't exactly round. It's more of an oval shape. So I've got to kind of go one way and then go the other in order to get a nice round hole. Well, now that we got the hole all punched and whatnot, let's fold over the end and get it where it needs to be there. It needs to be a pretty decent, sharp 90-degree angle. It can't be too curved or it's going to wind up interfering with the lid closure. So I'm just doing the best I can to get a good, crisp 90-degree turn. It doesn't have to be a square corner, but I can't have any, you know, oddball, like weird stuff going on there. And that looks pretty good. And the last part in the forging is just giving it like a little curve towards the outside so that it it's pulled away from the cooler just a little bit. I don't want it just like straight down right up against the cooler. That might be kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a curve so it's, you know, the hole at the bottom is, yeah, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches away from the cooler where I'm attaching the chain. And one last thing, hit it with the grinder, give it a little bit of cleanup, get all the forge, I don't know if it's really scale or not, but junk from the forge off of it. It's stainless, it doesn't really flake off a bunch of scale, but it does get a little bit of a coating of bleh all over it. And I just want to clean all that off so it's not getting all over my cooler and all over my hands and whatnot. And there you go. There's the finished product. You know, it's got a nice little curve to it. It's going to slide right down in the slots. And yeah, I actually forged 2 of these, but I only filmed doing one because, hey, who wants to watch the same thing twice? And as you can see, they fit right down in the slots. It's pretty secure. You can't pull it out. The lid closes completely. It's nice and secure. I mean, it's got a little bit of a wobble to it, but that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted some play in it, and yeah, that's going to work. So, these came out pretty sweet. They're going to do the job. They'll both slide down into the cooler, and then I've got 2 holes where I'm going to put in some 1/2-inch chain and then attach it to the pickup with those. And so if somebody wants to steal my cooler, they better come prepared. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and share it on various social media accounts if you can. I would appreciate it. It gets me a little bit more exposure. And drop a comment in the comment threads if you're so inclined. Other than that, this is Sully at Shamrock Forge saying, keep on forging on.